Welcome to GouldFish on Games plays CSI Miami, and we're up to the 4th case, Sunstroke. So let's kick this off and get going. Yeah! And this time we're going to be going out with Yelena. Well, at least on this case. I wonder if she's going to end up pulling double duty or something. And if her hair is going to look slightly more hair-like rather than a helmet that's been shoved on her head. Well, let's see what Horatio Kane has to tell us about this case, as he gives us that dead-eyed stare.
Time for a day of sun, but no fun at the beach. We have a body that's been catching rays long enough to get burned permanently. Yelena's pulling double duty on this case. She'll be joining you in the field. If you need warrants or want interrogations, you'll still need to get back to her desk to make the request.
Because we've already programmed this logic, and we can't be asked to change it, or put in any other characters. So let's just jump straight to it, and go to the beach. And that's not a beach. I wonder if that will be important. And there is our dead man. Oh, and is that a dead dog? Oh, that's not on. That's not on at all.
Even for Miami, this is one bright, beautiful day. But it went cloudy forever for this poor guy. Let's talk to our witness before we look around.
Again, yeah, that just looks terrible. So, I'm guessing this is our witness.
I'm Yelena Salas with Miami-Dade PD, and this is our crime scene investigator. Are you the citizen who called 911?
I am indeed. The EMTs got here in a hurry. Real impressive.
Dear.
But after they took a look at Mr. Diamond, they decided to call you folks in. Probably because of who my boss is, or anyway, was. Because it sure don't look like a crime scene to me. Any case, you folks didn't fool around neither. Great response time. Even so, the boss is turning red as a lobster in this sun. Hope we can get him off the beach pretty soon.
Such terrible dialogue. With a terrible voice actors. But on a weird voice, eh? So, what's your name?
What am I thinking of? I'm just, well, this kind of thing doesn't happen every day around here. Thank God for small favors. I work here at the Diamond Estate. Hugo Jackson.
And what do you do on the estate?
Mr. Diamond says I'm his chef. Chief cook and bottle washer's more like it. I maintain the kitchen and create culinary creations. Only to tell you the truth, it's just good old-fashioned Southern cooking. And it's what the boss likes. Or liked. Man, I'm having trouble dealing with this. Sorry. I go kind of motor mouth when I'm upset or nervous.
So we noticed. And who is the victim?
The boss, Roy. Roy Diamond? Unless you started working the Miami beat, you must have heard of him. Of course, he's been retired a while, but still. Before he took himself out of the game, he was the richest real estate magnate around.
How long has Roy been out here?
Oh, hell. 5, 6 hours anyway. He must have got to him. His heart wasn't what it used to be. But it's not the worst way to go, huh? Dying to sleep out on your own personal beach.
We realize this is hard for you, Mr. Jackson. You and your employer were obviously close. We're going to take a look around the scene. You don't have to stick around if you don't care to.
Man, that's a relief to hear. I like the boss, and having to hang around like this, well, does upset me. But hey, you need me, I'm here. I'll be heading to the beach house soon, though.
Well, I guess in beach house is where we're going to go next, after we sort out this.
As soon as possible, we need to move the deceased to the morgue. This intense heat won't be kind to our victim.
Well, let's look at what we got here.
Top page is torn off.
Take that. Oh, and we've got pieces. We've got another jigsaw puzzle.
Looks like someone tried to destroy this page, but did a bad job of hiding it from us. Better snag this. Might be important.
Terrible sound of buzzing flies. Oh, we've got a bottle down here. Is that... no. What's this? Yep. That looks like a fingerprint.
Somebody was squeezing the sunscreen. Let's let the lab tell us who.
Because the lab loves telling us things. And is that a second fingerprint? Yep.
Fingerprints on the cap. Let's see who screwed it off, so to speak.
And collect.
Sunscreen. Common enough beach accessory, but we'll bag and tag it. Pays to be thorough.
They're just blending into the sand there, rather. Nope, can't keep doing that.
No wonder the EMTs asked CSI to check this out. 2 victims don't die of natural causes simultaneously.
Poor Poochie.
Soon as possible, we need to move the deceased to the morgue. This intense heat won't be kind to our victim.
Well, let's see if we can get it to the morgue, shall we?
Any way I can help?
Can you recover the victim's body and his dog for me?
Already have a team on the way. That sun isn't doing us any favors. Glad we got the victim off that beach when we did. Much longer and he'd be well done. And not in a good way. Don't know if you know this, but the paperwork for this autopsy has been held up. Hopefully you'll find out why. As for our 4-legged friend, there's not much I can tell you about his demise right now.
Did the victim die of natural causes?
I'd have considered that a decent analysis if it weren't for the man's best friend dying at the same time. 2 deaths at once, despite the difference in species, is too coincidental. Definitely a job for CSI.
Good to know. How do you think the victim died?
With an unmarked body like this, I have to consider poison, even though it's not a common cause of death. I look for injection marks, which are not always easy to locate, and a wide variety of toxins share similar effects, spreading through the bloodstream and shutting down the body.
Can we get a sample of the victim's blood?
I can only give you a DNA sample for now. If you want a blood sample, you have to wait until I have permission to perform an autopsy.
Can you perform an examination of the dog?
Well, at least it's not an alligator this time. But the truth is, I'm no expert on canine anatomy. We can make it happen, but not right away. If you can crack this case without a dog autopsy, that would be a good thing.
Because you obviously don't want to cut open a dog. And I guess that's it. Guess let's process the evidence.
What's up?
Take that. Come on, take it.
Scan that print, and the computer's got it.
And that one.
That fingerprint's over in the computer for you. Somebody was sticking their fingers where they shouldn't have been.
On the cap of a... Why wouldn't they be putting it there? That just seems
DNA's
stupid.
amplified and graphed. What are you waiting for? Computer's got it. I ran it through the ESDA equipment to see if I could lift an image from it, and nothing. If something was written on the top page, it was with a light touch.
And time for the puzzle.
If you want to know the score, better put the pieces together.
And let's just...
So I did further analysis, and sorry, if you're looking for a specific toxin, nothing special.
And the
Chemical
sunscreen?
contents of that bottle of sunscreen are over at the computer. Don't mention it.
And finally, can you do anything with the dog?
I may be a cat lover, but I don't enjoy seeing any dead pet.
Well, let's get on with the jigsaw puzzle. Well, seeing there's probably not going to be any simple corners, let's just try lining up this with this red line. Seems sensible to me. And then just trying to join anything we can. Scribbles seem like a good choice. Yeah. There we go. Oh, that doesn't go there. That goes up there, so... Seeing there's a bit here, is that going to be along the left-hand side? See what we can do to join everything in. Oh, there we go. We might be making progress with this one. They do seem to like their jigsaw puzzles. There's been at least 3 of them out of the 4 cases. Has it been that many? Feels like it. I think we're starting to get somewhere with this one. Yep. Lots of little scribbles. Hey. Ah, there we go. I think that was the piece that makes everything else just fall into place. And we still get to hear the weird sound effects coming out of this lab. I like how the fact they thought it was necessary to give it... Oh, there we go. Ah. Oh, there we go. I think we're just about solved this one. Oh. I thought we'd lost a bit.
And somebody was making out pretty darn good. Yeah, helpful, but a first name is a far cry from a positive identity. Maybe we can find some evidence that will get us the rest of it.
Well, we've got some fingerprints. Maybe that will help. Searching, searching, searching. Donk. Will any of these actually match? That one doesn't. That one doesn't. It's close, but not close enough. Nope.
Could be a match in one of these results.
Okay. Some of them didn't seem close enough to me.
The helpful fingers are on the hand of a Denise Diamond, at one time under suspicion in the death of her very late husband. Only later it was deemed accidental. Maybe she can cast some more sunshine on our beach fatality.
I swear they aren't... Like, they keep saying, oh, it's in the details, but whenever I see ones that are closer than that, they go, oh, nope, that's not it. Yeah. Damn you, game. And your inconsistencies. One of the other ones, you had to sort of click on sort of junction points and stuff. It's much better. This just sort of glance at it and sort of take a guess. Apart from that, but...
Not quite a match there. It's the little things that count doing a comparison. Check your details, then call me for confirmation.
Well, let me just continue. The funny thing is you can actually just do it for each one. It makes no real difference. She complains, but she'll still let you do it.
Prints belong to a Martin Fordham, who made it into our computer thanks to a DUI. Let's track him down.
Let's just do that, shall we? I've got DNA, which is just his.
Standard issue sunscreen. No special secret ingredients. Not a murder weapon.
And that's just DNA. But we don't really need that. So let's go to the beach house with another wonderful establishing shot. Oh, this guy's new. Who are you?
The ever-present Donnie Bronson, the legal profession's bad penny. Just kidding, Don. What's the occasion this time? We don't even have a suspect yet.
Are you sure you have a murder? Hugo filled me in. I'm assuming you're here because of the importance of my late client. Roy and I were very close. He was an older man, sure, but young at heart. And my heart is heavy because of this tragic loss. Let me know how I can help.
Some terrible dialogue. Some truly terrible dialogue. So what are you doing here?
As I indicated, I was Mr. Diamond's attorney. We had an appointment today to discuss his will, ironically enough. Imagine that. He passes away on the very day he was set to update his last will and testament.
It's not ironic at all. It's almost as ironic as rain on your wedding day, or 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. Though you can sharpen a spoon to be a knife, so... Is it ironic? I really don't think. Well, can we have the will?
Much as I want to help Miami-Dade's finest, I just can't go around handing out legal documents belonging to a client, deceased or living, just on the whim of the investigators at the scene. Follow the correct procedure, and of course I'll cooperate. Cooperate fully, as always.
Oh, I'm sure. The same way that you animate from barely the sort of halfway down your stomach down. Like that leg hasn't moved an inch. That hand, not moved an inch. I'm not sure that... Oh no, it's got an animating finger. Though, it does have what looks like reptilian eyes. Ugh. When was the last time Roy updated his will?
Oddly enough, not long ago at all. Only 2 weeks. Of course, Roy had a thing about his will. I guess I'm not violating any confidence by telling you we updated it on virtually a monthly basis. But then his fortune was fluid, too. You know how stocks rise and fall in this economic climate.
Why are you here 2 weeks early to update the will?
My secretary gave me an urgent message from Roy. Apparently my client had changes to make that would change everything. Now, please, I'm already on the rough edges of compromising attorney-client privileges.
Are you sure? What were those changes?
Now you've fallen off those edges. If I knew, I couldn't say. But I'll spare you the trouble of getting bent out of shape, and remind you that I didn't directly speak with my client. As I said, this was second-hand news. My secretary informed me of this latest diamond crisis.
I never thought I'd hear myself say this, Donnie, but please stick around. We'll be getting a court order for that will.
Hey, I'll hang on as long as I can, but I am a busy man. Your time belongs to the city, but with a guy like me, well, like the man says, time is money.
Which man? Be more specific if you're a lawyer. And so, see if we can actually they showed that.
And
fish
what a
tank.
remarkable aquarium this is. An unusual array of aquatic life. Or do we have a death also?
That thing doesn't seem to be moving. Oh,
If I remember correctly, aquariums are meant to show aquatic life, not aquatic death. Looks like someone needs to clean that up, but not us.
and who hasn't had a fish tank that's had a dead fish in it? That seems common. And that looks like a fingerprint to me. A very clear fingerprint.
Just as we try to be careful about even stray details. For example, an otherwise immaculately clean fish tank with a single fingerprint.
And what looks like a toaster behind it. Or is that reflected? don't think there's even a toaster in this room. What's that? Ugh. Anyway.
Finding your way around the Diamond Estate okay? It could be a little overwhelming, especially with that shyster Donnie Bronson underfoot.
What was that you said, Hugo? Hope I didn't hear what I thought I heard.
Nothing negative, Mr. Bronson. Just said you were a shy soul, and always welcome around the Diamond Digs.
Nice save. Could Roy have eaten poisoned food?
I won't even bother being offended. First place, Roy never ate breakfast. Just not a meal that was on his schedule. A bad habit that I tried to break him of. But even if he had broken fast, I gotta say no way. You see, I wasn't just a cook around here. I was also the king's taste tester. Roy, Mr. Diamond, he insisted I sample everything I prepared for him, right in front of his eyes.
That's not weird. That's not weird at all. Was Roy paranoid about getting poisoned?
Paranoid's a little harsh. I love the man, but he was like a lot of wealthy types, self-important as hell. He liked to say, a big man has big enemies. It was part of his power trip, far as I'm concerned, playing king with a food taster. Hey, I like what I prepare in my kitchen. Don't bother me none taking a bite of each and every good thing I fix.
Could the dog have been poisoned?
If so, just supports what I was saying. That dog was never allowed any table scraps. The boss considered feeding a dog from the table a dirty, filthy habit, and never indulged. He loved that dog and fed him the best in kibble, that is.
Alex's autopsy of the victim will rule out food. Or not.
Excuse me? Remember little old me? The most famous lawyer in town? I have to insist that you put a hold on any autopsy. It's just not gonna happen. Roy Diamond had strict religious beliefs that preclude any such procedure.
Well, isn't that special? We'll just have to look into that convenient religious belief of the deceased and get back to you, Counselor. And thanks for all this great help you're giving us.
Lots of air quotes going on in this one. Do you know Denise Diamond?
Very well. Mrs. Diamond, Denise, is Mr. Diamond's daughter-in-law, wife of Roy's late son, but don't get the idea that she was living off her late hubby's rich daddy. There's no harder worker on this estate. She's almost a personal assistant to Mr. Diamond. You could even say a servant.
Do you know Martin Fordham?
I know Martin. Lives right here on the estate. Mr. Diamond's personal valet. Sort of the butler around here. Hey, a guy with a personal food taster is bound to have a butler, right?
If you say so. Would you please call Martin and Denise here?
No problem. I'll round them up for you. They'll be around here somewhere. Oh, here they are now.
Are these the authorities?
Here they are now.
I can't afford to be tied up long. There are funeral arrangements to make.
Or is this about Donnie Bronson going over the will with us? Isn't that a little ghoulishly premature?
Hey, don't look at me, Denise. I just happen to be here to talk to your father-in-law about certain legal matters. Martin's right. These are, in fact, the authorities, including a rep from the crime lab. So keep in mind, you both have rights.
Always thoughtful, isn't he? Mr. Fordham, Miss Diamond, sorry to bother you at such a difficult time. We just have a few questions for you.
No problem. I'm sure we'll have whatever answers you might need. I'm not concerned about my rights. I'm well aware Mr. Bronson is a little overly cautious in such situations.
Well, let's talk to them and see what they got to say.
Yeah, it's a real tragedy. Let me know what you need from me. Try to help.
Where were you this morning when Roy passed away?
In my room performing various duties. On a farm, they'd call it doing chores. If anybody told you I was anywhere else doing anything else, they're liars. Right, Hugo?
Miss Diamond, I didn't tell these nice people anything, except what happened this morning on the beach.
Mrs. Diamond, we're not accusing you of anything. We're asking routine questions that we'd ask anyone in this situation.
Do you have an alibi for the time of death?
Why? Was I supposed to have one ready? I don't get this. Roy died on the beach of a heart attack or something, right?
He may have been poisoned.
What? This is a murder? That's crazy. Roy was a tyrant, I won't lie to you, but I don't know anybody who'd kill him.
And tell us about your late husband.
Now what? You want to dredge up that horrible tragedy? Why don't you people just throw me down some stairs or beat me with a rubber hose or something? My husband perished in a terrible boating accident, all right? It's something I don't discuss and try very hard not to think about.
Why would you use a rubber hose when we could use a bag full of oranges? Sheesh, don't you know anything? Well, if we have more questions, where can we find you?
I live here on the estate. Why don't you people come talk to me when you get your facts straight and your act together? Then I'll be glad to help, really.
And she vanishes. Let's see what he has to say now.
Tell me what you need. Mr. Diamond may not have been the most lovable man on the planet, but he was good to me, and I'll do whatever I can to help you find out what happened to the old boy.
Have you spent any time with your boss today?
Actually, yes. I spent some time with him this morning. Fact is, he seemed pretty chipper to me. He was alive and well and full of prunes when I left him on the beach.
Is that some weird euphemism? And where did you go after leaving Roy?
I went to my quarters for... this'll sound strange, but for a nap. I know, it was still morning, but I'd had a sleepless night. Should say, another sleepless night. This insomnia is a real pain. It's starting to affect my work habits.
Where can we find you if you have more questions?
I'll be in my room here on the estate. Feel free to stop by, but I know less than nothing. Really.
Oh, do you now? Less than nothing. Do you recognize this scorecard?
Sure, that's Mr. Diamond's running score. You know, of who's gonna inherit what when he dies.
Are you Prophet?
Am I? Prophet? Hell no! That was his pooch. And if you're wondering what a dog was doing in his will, you need to know two things. First, he really did love that mutt, probably more than any person in his life. And second, he had some sixth sense of humor. He could be a real sadistic SOB. Seemed to get no bigger kick out of anything than playing the people in his life one off against the other. Me, I kinda dug the twisted old dude. And why not? He gave me a good job and a good life. But the relatives, man, he played them like a hand of cards.
According to this note, Roy planned to change his will and leave everything to his dog.
Because that's normal. And why is there a dead octopus in your fish tank?
Nothing much around here is mine. That fish tank, like everything and everybody around here, belonged to the boss.
Belong to the boss. Can we have your fingerprints?
Glad to give them. I got nothing to hide from you folks.
That's enough for now.
Well, let's see if we can get some of those things.
Can I help you out in this case?
Can a person's religion stop us from doing an autopsy?
I'll have to refer to the state legal database to see if a person's religious beliefs can prevent an autopsy from being performed in a murder investigation. Good. Religion is not a legitimate cause to block it. We can now perform our autopsy.
Great. Well, can we also get a court order for Roy Diamond's will?
No problem. Done.
Well, that was...
Now let's return to everyone's
quick.
favorite ever cooperative attorney, Donnie Bronson. I'm sure he'll find the will to give us that will.
Oh, you reached deep for that one. I think we had some
Yes?
evidence. Yes, we do have some evidence. Take
Print's
that.
been scanned. It's on the computer.
And that.
Print's in the computer. Hey, don't mention it.
And
Hugo cooked up a nice lie. We'll put him on the spot and see what he has to say.
Let's go to the morgue now that we should be able to get an autopsy done.
What now?
Could the poison have been ingested?
The eyes are the windows of the soul, they say. But the mouth is a door to the furnace room. Ingestion's the most common method of poison entering the human system. If nothing else, we should rule that out by checking the victim's stomach contents.
Oh, I can guess what we're going to be doing. We now have permission to do an autopsy.
Great. Let's get started with it then. I'll prep the body. Okay, honey. Let's see what we can find.
Can we examine the
I
victim's
thought you'd
stomach?
never ask.
Ah, lovely. Let's get that. And can we get a sample of the dog's blood to test?
Like I said, I'm no canine expert, but I think I can handle that no problem. Here you go.
And back to the lab.
Hey,
Take that.
set up a special link on the computer for that.
And that.
Always the bearer of fine gifts, aren't you? I sent the sample to the computer and set up a special search link for you. But if you're looking for a specific toxin in this blood, good luck. A dog's metabolism is faster and works different than humans. I'm afraid our lab equipment won't give you the accuracy you're looking for, but I guess it's worth a try.
Well, anything's worth a try, I guess. Alright. Go.
So we can probably conclude that Roy didn't ingest any toxins, but that still doesn't rule out poisoning as a cause of death.
And the dog. Oh,
Looks like Valera was right. Our canine friend was most likely poisoned. But his high metabolic rate has made it difficult for our equipment to pinpoint the poison.
can we get a blood sample?
What now?
No. Let's go back to the beach house, I guess. Can we have Roy Diamond's will?
Certainly. Like you, I only want to support the laws of the land. Here it is. Hope it furthers the course of justice. You've seen everyone, and you have the will. I need to get back to 1,000 matters. Paying matters. If you don't mind. I hardly imagine we've seen the last of each other.
That's enough for now.
And you? Why did you lie about being near the fish tank?
Look, I'm the most honest man you're likely to talk to today. But around the diamond dwelling, I'm low man on the totem pole. That aquarium is strictly Martin's turf, and he don't like nobody fooling with it. If he even knew I'd been near it, guy might have asked the old man to fire me. And the old man just might have.
Martin has the power to fire you?
Well, the bastard has more power than me. And when I say bastard, that could be literal. See, rumor has it Martin was Mr. Diamond's love child, which makes sense, except for that old man didn't have no love in him.
Could Denise benefit from the death of Roy?
Depends on his whim. But she'd benefit in one sense, at least, in that the old guy would finally stop making plays for her. See, Mr. Diamond would put his hands on her inappropriate-like and put double meanings in what he said to her. Man, sometimes it got so embarrassing, I just had to walk away.
Walk away.
That's enough for now.
Oh. Let's go to the sea. Island. Supposedly she lives miles and miles away. Oh, what's she
I
have to
figured
say?
you people might drop by. Hey, sorry if I got out of line before. Can I get you a drink or anything? I have coffee made.
Thanks, but we won't be here that long.
Roy is your father-in-law?
After my husband's death, Roy invited me to stay on. We'd been living with him. So I stuck around thinking how gracious Roy was, only it turned out he expected something in return. So I became a kind of assistant to Roy, which sounds better than it is. I get hit with some pretty menial tasks. But hey, Roy could have just tossed me out on my behind.
Who would want Roy dead?
You may have already guessed that Roy Diamond wasn't Mr. Warmth. Of course, you don't make big money in this country unless you've got a big ego. And big shots make big enemies. He used to say that himself.
Did Roy show you his running score for his inheritance?
Running score? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Did you know that Roy was going to leave his entire estate to his dog?
That just sounds like one of his sick jokes. He changed that will more often than I changed his sheets. Which I did every damn day, by the way.
Because that seems normal. Did Roy make sexual advances towards you?
Look, he was a real Romeo in his day. But in his golden years, it was all talk. Did he put his hands on me? Some. Nothing over the line, though. Hey, I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself.
Can we take a look around?
Why? Do you need my permission? Knock yourself out.
What can we find? Oh. What's this? That looks like a fingerprint. Again, lots of fingerprints in this episode.
Fingerprints. Nice catch, partner.
Collection. Come on.
Why does Denise have a syringe in her bedroom? Does she have a medical condition?
And why did it be so difficult to pick that up? We have an open drawer, yes, and ooh, what's this?
What's this glass vial doing here? You know what, let's get Valera to see if it contains anything interesting.
Can we ask her about these things?
Enough already. That's
Nope.
all I have.
Let's go talk to Martin. Who also seems to be all the way across the other side of the island.
Hello? Is anybody here?
Over here, in the bathroom. Well, looks like the safari found me. Navigating the grounds of this estate can be a challenge, I know. How can I help?
By answering some questions. We're looking at this as a murder now, and that opens other possibilities.
So, does the fish tank belong to you?
It's mine, though technically I suppose Roy's. I've been living in a kind of fishbowl myself. Kind of nice to control somebody else's environment for a change. Sarcasm aside, I've been into aquatic life since I was a kid. Kind of an expert by now.
Who would want Roy dead?
Hey, I love the guy. He was larger than life, you know? But to an outsider, he could seem a penny-pinching, egomaniacal, thoughtless jerk. Also to an insider. And a towering figure like Roy's, I've said, can make his share of big enemies. Only, since his retirement, his world is a lot smaller. He wasn't active enough to make new enemies, and the old ones probably felt he'd pretty much fallen off the face of the earth.
To me, does it look like he's wearing a bra? Are you aware of Roy's ranking system for his estate?
That ridiculous notepad? Ah, that was just a whip he cracked. Way to keep us all hopping and in line. But the strong implication was, harder you work, the more you inherit.
Why are you getting more money than Denise?
In the latest draft, you mean? Maybe because I work my butt off and she drags hers. But that's too harsh. She had pressures I never had. Namely, he wasn't trying to get me in bed. Periodically, he got pissed at her after she'd really stand up to him.
There seems to be a lot of sex in these episodes. And sort of really weird sex as well. It's like, the writer has a problem. Was Roy your father?
Oh, you know that, do you? We don't advertise it. Indeed he was. Was he a good father? As good as he knew how. Did I love him? As well as I knew how.
As well as I knew how. I'm dead inside. And can we get a sample of your DNA?
Guys, you know I'm on your side in this. But unless the law requires it, I'm gonna have to say no. I've done nothing wrong, and that's a real invasion of my privacy. It would also provide a public record of who I am, and I don't know yet whether I'll ever go public with my real identity.
Did you know the entire estate was going to go to the dog?
Oh, I didn't take that seriously. That's just Roy's sick sense of humor. I might have worried more if I didn't know he changed wills like some guys change shirts.
Can we take a look around your bathroom?
Don't take this wrong, but no. I've answered your questions, but I am not going to have my privacy invaded while you go on a fishing expedition.
That's enough for now.
I think we
What's
got
up?
Yeah, we got some evidence, didn't we? Yes.
Scan that print, and the computer's got it.
And
I'm not gonna waste your time sending this empty syringe over to the computer.
why not?
There's liquid in this vial. I'll send it over to the computer.
And is it the sunscreen cap? No, that was Denise's. Yep. And let's look at this vial.
Tetrodotoxin. Lethal toxin, most commonly found in pufferfish, if I'm not mistaken.
I wonder if we can get.
Any way I can help?
Yeah, can we get a sample of the victim's blood to
Piece
test?
of cake, now that we have permission. Here you go.
Couldn't we have gone that ages ago?
Hey,
And you get that.
you want a chemical analysis of this blood, so I sent it over to the computer. Hey, what are friends for?
Hey, we're just work colleagues. Nothing more. I know you're giving me that look. Now let's see if this has got that toxin in it.
Tetrodotoxin. Lethal poison, very rare.
And there we go.
So the toxin in the vial matches the toxin we found in Roy's blood. I think we just found our cause of death. And incriminating evidence against Miss Diamond.
Now, is that enough to bring her in? Let's try.
Hey, what do you need? With tetrodotoxin in a deceased blood and a vial of the stuff in Denise's room, you got plenty to talk to her about.
How many times are you people gonna bother me? I already helped. Maybe I need to call Donnie Bronson back in.
You're privileged, but I doubt he can help you much considering the evidence we found. Of course, you might clear it up easily.
Did you poison your father-in-law?
Of course not. Why
Wow.
would I want Roy out of the way? My work may not be fulfilling, but I have a nice life in great surroundings. He wouldn't have lived forever anyway.
They really do pick their camera angles, don't they? Why did we find your fingerprints on a syringe in your room?
Martin's a diabetic. He takes insulin twice a day and sometimes I inject him. What it was doing in my room, I really can't say. Other than somebody is fitting me for a frame.
You're not that much of a picture, though. Do you know who... do you know what was found in the vial in your room?
I don't know what to tell you about that.
Why did you find tetrodotoxin in your room?
Tetro? What the hell? What is this? Are you planting evidence? What kind of frame is this, anyway?
No frames evident just yet, Miss Diamond. But one picture is clear. The toxin found in your bedroom is the same one that seems to have ended Mr. Diamond's life.
Okay. Okay, everybody step back. You're supposed to be detectives, right? You should be looking at Martin, the bastard's son. You have any idea how bent out of shape he'd get with the games Roy put him through? I could hardly blame the guy for whipping up a toxic unwake-me-up call for his father. What I do blame him for is framing me. Can't you see? I stood to inherit too. Having me out of the way put less players on Roy's scorecard. And don't forget, Prophet was sent to the big doggy hotel in the sky too.
Didn't you say you had no idea about the scorecard earlier? So, Obviously, that's not a question we can ask. We have to go with what they got. And where would Martin get texototoxin?
Hell, have you checked out his room? He's got more weird chemicals and stuff in there than a pharmacist. Don't trust the labels either. Check that stuff out.
That's enough for now.
Well, can we check his room?
Maybe finding that evidence in Denise's room was a little convenient. Martin could be a killer clever enough to plant clues implicating somebody else with a good motive.
I guess that's a positive. Did you let Denise ever administer your insulin?
Actually, yes.
And we have a warrant to look around your bathroom.
What? You don't have proper grounds. And after I was so openly cooperative. Wait till Donnie Bronson hears about this. He'll have you up on charges.
That's enough for now.
What charges? You can't just say that randomly. We can pick up.
Just because we know from Denise that Martin's diabetic, that doesn't instantly make the clear liquid in this bottle insulin. Let's run a check.
Let's continue to look around. Can't click on the toilet. Anything? Oh, we got a waste paper basket.
Now this syringe appears used. If Martin doesn't feel inclined to donate his DNA, we may just have to look elsewhere. Get the point?
Oh, I get the point. Oh, click over here. Oh, can we collect any of these things? Oh,
Insecticide. This could be extracted and used as a lethal injection, like the one our victim received.
can we collect any of these other bottles? Nope. Oh, and we've got some more needles.
I wonder if Mr. Diamond could have been killed by injection. Let's get Valero to process this.
And I guess back to the lab.
Yes?
Items. Throw them
Special
all at
link
her.
is waiting on the computer. If Martin and our victim were father and son, the DNA won't match, but we'll be close enough to confirm relation. Insecticide, organophosphates, carbamates, para-dichlorobenzenes. Fends off all kinds of critters and creepy crawlies. Also, a deadly toxin. A single drop could be fatal. And worse, it can be absorbed through the skin. And no, I'm not an expert on this subject. Our resident tox guru, Ruben Alazar, filled me in. He's processed this poison and sent it over to the computer.
Lucky that he just happened to be around.
These are new needles, unused. Processing them would be, well, pointless.
Well, they're like that pointing gag, didn't they? Well, let's see if they are.
Martin is Roy Diamond's offspring, all right?
There we go.
Is that why Martin was in line for the bulk of the estate?
Most likely. Let's see if this insulin is insulin.
Insulin, all right.
And it
Another
is.
dead end.
And this.
This substance may be capable of murder, but it's innocent in this case. This bug killer didn't hurt a fly.
Can we talk to him more?
Sorry, I can't be of any further help for now.
Can we drag him in?
What do you need? Martin is the victim's son and was in line for most of the estate. But his father was about to change his will and leave his money not to the bastard, but to a literal son of a bitch. Sounds like a motive for murder to me.
Here are almost laughing at
Guys,
that.
I feel embarrassed about our last encounter. I think my father's death was working on my emotions harder than I knew. I shouldn't have gone off on you like that when you brought that perfectly legal warrant. Consider me back on the team.
Are you getting more of this tape because you're related to Roy?
Of course I am. I was his son, his closest living relative, and that's why Denise is so resentful of me. Seems like every time things start to ease up between Denise and me, Roy would give her a hard time and she'd just take it out on me. If she thinks I murdered Roy and that I'm trying to frame her for it, well, she's going off big time. You just can't take her seriously.
Why was Roy going to give all his fortune to the dog?
There's no question my father loved that pooch. He liked to throw the fact in my face, Denise's too, that he preferred it to us. But that was just part of the casual cruelty a powerful guy can indulge in. Really, he was just trying to get us to work harder for him and cater to him. Even more. Before his next revision of the will.
Did you kill Roy before you could make the change?
Before you go down that wrong road, consider. Roy changed his will as often as he changed his mind. And in most drafts, I was on top. So all I needed to do was wait out his latest whim. I did not frame Denise. Look at the facts. I've never been involved in a murder investigation before, but she has. And Roy was making her life hell, coming on to her, threatening to cut her off if she didn't come across. But think it through, guys. If both that pooch and I are out of the way, who inherits? Poor little Denise becomes, poof, poor little rich girl. And what about the notes? Did she tell you about those?
What notes, Martin?
It's a cryptogram that Roy wrote up and was going to give to Denise. He would write them up on occasion in code so that no one but Denise could read them. Then he would have Hugo deliver them, thinking that he wouldn't be able to read them, like Hugo even cared what was in the notes. Roy accidentally dropped this one and I picked it up, with the intention of returning it to him, but curiosity got the best of me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to get caught with it, but I didn't want Roy to know that I'd read it either. So I held on to it.
So what does it say?
I can't remember exactly. You should probably just crack it yourselves rather than rely on my hunches.
Oh, I'm gonna guess.
Sorry, I can't be of any further help for now.
Quite you. I'm guessing we're gonna have another logic and word puzzle.
Hey. Ooh, a secret letter and code, huh? High tech. Shouldn't be too hard for you. I'll set the characters up under a special search link in the computer.
And we know how much I love these. Oh, here we go. Right. Well, they're using the word will a lot. And that looks like it could probably have the word will in it. Hey, if this sort of guesswork was good enough for the code breakers, I'm sure it'll work for me. Maybe. Blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 da. My will. Ah, I hate word puzzles. I hate word puzzles. Well, these two words are the same. I need to start taking some more guesses here. Well, that's obviously different to that. Let's try the. Always a good word to try. That looks like it could be tonight. And that could be room. You will, yep, that makes sense. Well, it's not the will I was thinking of, but it seems to match anyway. So you will join me in my room tonight, or something something. So you have no choice and face. Is that an S? Consequent.
Oh my.
Hey.
And Denise said that she could handle herself. It doesn't look that way to me.
It didn't take me ages this time. Don't know if that means I'm getting better or not. Well, let's continue to talk to her.
Hey, what do you need?
We're going to continue talking to Denise.
Let's invite him back.
Was Roy sexually harassing you?
I wouldn't go that far. I'd never bring any charges or anything. Not unless it was assault with a dead weapon. He was an old perv. That's all there is to it.
Martin handed us a note suggesting Roy was getting frisky with you, Denise.
Can't you see what Martin's up to? He is working very hard to make me look like the guilty party. I did not do this crime.
But did you do the rhyme? Why would Martin be trying to frame you?
I'm just an easy target. I stood to make money when Roy died, all right? What better scapegoat? And, look, that stuff you told me about, tetrodotoxin, that rang a bell. But at the time, I couldn't place it. Now I'm just sure I heard it before. From Martin.
She said that in such a dead tone. From Martin. Martin knows about tetrodotoxin.
He was bragging about his rare fish and stuff this one time. His octopus, in that tank, uses a toxin to paralyze its prey. I'm almost positive the word Martin used for that poison was... whatchamacallit, tetrodotoxin?
I think that fish tank's due for a cleaning.
Enough already. That's all I have.
Let's take a closer look at that fish tank. See if we can actually grab.
You keep bringing me dead animals and we're gonna have the pet activists on our tails.
Ho 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 ho. Can we ask him
Nothing
anything?
else right now, guys. Sorry.
Well, let's give
What's up?
our dead octopus.
Blue-ringed octopus. Beautiful little creatures, but oh so deadly. This one isn't anymore, and not just because he's dead. He also has been drained of all his toxin.
Right. Well, let's talk to...
Can I help you out in this case? Yeah, let's have another chat with him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't be of any further help for now.
Really?
Nothing else right now, guys. Sorry.
I'm guessing we're going to drag him in.
What do you need? Not yet. Maybe with more evidence linking the suspect to the scene.
Don't we have fingerprints and stuff?
Yes?
Can Alex tell us more about this?
Any way I can help?
Ah, yeah. Okay, obviously she can tell us about a dead octopus. What can you tell us about the dead octopus?
Other than it's dead? Well, there's a tiny puncture mark above its tentacles. Could have been caused by a syringe.
Hey, what do you need?
Can you tell us
Let's
more
invite
about
him
this?
back.
Did you use a blue-ringed octopus toxin to kill your father? That's a bit of a mouthful.
Is that what killed Roy? Tetrodotoxin? How horrible. But you need to be very clear on one thing. I would never harm any of my aquatic friends. Not even to take down my worst enemy, which my father was not, incidentally.
The octopus was drained of its toxins by a syringe, and you are the expert in the house when it comes to aquatic sea life. As far as I can tell, you're the only one with the means and the knowledge to do this act.
That is true, but everything that I know about blue-ringed octopus and pufferfish, everyone in this household knows. I talk about it all the time. I've even had discussions with Hugo and Denise on how to extract their toxins. Talk to them. It was one of them.
Wow. Throwing it out there. Talk to anyone else but me. Let's try talking to him. Did you extract the toxin from the octopus?
Do I look like a sushi chef to you? Get real, fellas. Just 'cause you found a lousy little fingerprint on that glass don't mean I cooked up Mr. Diamond's murder.
What were you really doing in the fish tank?
Well, I spotted these fooling around in the water, which is dangerous considering that octopus. Anyway, when she walked off, I checked things out. Everything in the fish tank looked cool, so I just kind of put it out of my mind. Slipped my mind till this very moment. About an hour after she was at the fish tank, I saw her outside digging in the sand. I never saw her playing around out there before. Not exactly the sandcastle type, Denise. Sorry I forgot about it till now. Hadn't made that big an impression, I guess. Not compared to Mr. Diamond dying and all.
Well, let's see. Can we find anything in the sand? Can we just randomly kick? Do we need a special detection tool? Do we need to talk to her first before we can go digging?
What do you need? Yeah, let's have another chat with him.
I can never tell. Oh no, there is a new question. So why did Hugo see you dig in the sand next to Roy's beach chair?
I don't know what to tell you about that.
That's enough for now.
That's nowhere near the chair. Oh.
Someone's stray sunscreen.
Hey,
Nothing quite like trying to throw us off the scent.
check the computer. I've set up a special search link for you. No problem.
And actually, didn't actually take a look, see if there's any fingerprints, and doesn't look like any.
Tetrodotoxin. Now we know how the poison was applied. Absorbed, not injected.
Well, I guess we've got to talk to her again.
Can I help you out in this case?
Seems a weird thing to say when you're on the case as well, but...
Let's invite him back.
Enough already. That's all I have.
Really? So there's no fingerprints or anything on the bottle. Well, there's something more to be found on the beach. Did we miss something here? Ah. What did we?
You might try a similar tool. It's a fake fingernail. But real enough to nail a killer, well, maybe. If he got torn off from an actual fingernail.
Yes?
Item. Not items. No, it's trace.
You struck gold, or DNA anyway, from where the fake nail attached to the real one. It's in the computer.
Let's see what we can do with this DNA. Who knows? That's definitely not a match. That's not a match. That's not a match. Is that a match?
The fake nail belongs to a very real Denise Diamond. DNA is on file from the investigation of her husband's death.
And there we
Denise's
go.
false nail probably snapped off when she dug that hole to hide the spiked sunscreen.
Why would you bury
Hey,
it anyway?
what do you need?
Why don't you just throw it in the water or put it in the bin or something, you know?
Yeah, let's have another chat with him.
Why did you murder your
Excuse
father-in-law?
me? What are you guys doing? Drinking on duty?
We're perfectly sober, Denise. Much as you were when you coldly decided to do something about Roy after all his sexual harassment and game playing with yourself and his other heirs. You siphoned off some octopus's deadly toxin from the fish tank and injected it into Roy's sunscreen bottle. Then you hid the evidence while Roy did his part by dying a quick and easy death. You substituted another sunscreen bottle, then framed yourself, clumsily, pinning the tail on Martin. What you hadn't planned was that little pooch trying to lick his dead master awake, ingesting some of the fatal sunscreen. Now see, since the pooch was the latest heir in Roy's merry-go-round of wills, that accidentally cast further suspicion on what could have been mistaken as heart failure, particularly
Wow.
since Roy's religious
Doing all that
beliefs
without
would have
talking.
headed off an autopsy.
That's quite a shaggy dog story, guys. Here's another. Once upon a time, there was a girl who got tired of a dirty old man putting his hands all over her and trying to blackmail her into putting out to get an inheritance that was rightfully hers anyway. If this world was at all fair, a creep like Roy Diamond could never abuse everybody around him and get away with it just because he's rich. You like that story? Then prove it in court. Whoever put an end to his cruelty deserves a medal, not condemnation. In the meantime, I want to see Donnie Bronson.
Good work. This is a fine example of looking for the evidence and then listening to it. Just because the victim wasn't the nicest man under the sun was no excuse for what Denise Diamond did.
Is it 30? Hey! Let's see if we do better with these questions than we did last time. Monthly, wasn't it? Hey, here we go. 2 for 2. Insomnia. 2? Oh, gotta get at least one wrong. Common source was the pufferfish. It's always the pufferfish. And we got another rank of Master. Oh yeah. And that is coming to the end of another episode. We've got one more to go. Hopefully the wait will be worth it as we see how this whole case ends. Because each of those, they barely really sort of were answered, to be completely honest. And so until next time, enjoy the extras. I've been the GouldFish, and this was GouldFish on Games. See you later.